Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Leilui Nishmat Yosef Mordechai. What a Kiddush Hashem. Reb Nachman Seltz is here. Went to sleep at what time? 3:30 in the morning is here to do the daf. Inspiration to everybody. Shkoyach. What a chas and a beautiful. Shalom Rav Eli. First of all, what's your name? Shalom Aleichem.
Fred Brin.
From Fred Brin?
Muncie, New Hampstead, New York. I
know
Shlomi Rosenberg 30 years.
Really? We don't know who he is. He's anonymous.
I figured maybe you would.
He's one of the most helpful people. Well, we didn't say his name for MDY. He works every day a few hours for MDY. But we're not allowed to say his name. And in my humble opinion, it's chaval to remove the timing from the psukim. They act as a memory aid. When I first joined this year, a year and a half ago, I was so impressed with the psukim, how the drush is highlighted, etc. It made everything so clear. And the Trump only added, whatever you decide, may Hashem give you continued strength, give him steig, Yilachem shor, Nevei Yaakov, MDY since Siyum of Moed Yevamis. Beautiful. Okay. Yosef Berman, who's Balkair, also said the same thing. Yeah, we'll do two. And then we'll do a third one with the other, yeah. Then we can do just time. Dear Reb Eli Shlita, we are a base medrash that has a Daf Yomi Chabura where one bacher listens to your shir every day. It's a beautiful shir. And then gives it over to the rest of the Chabura. Oh, I thought the beautiful shir is going on here. Shkoyach. We would like to know if you'd be willing to sponsor Gemaras for the 5 bachrim in the Chabura. Here's their... We would love it if you'd give us a shout out during the shir. We included some pictures too. Thanks very much. The MDY Chabur of Beis Medrash Zichron Meir. Where's this place? Anybody know? Let's see. The bookcase. I don't know. There's a fan on the wall that looks like Eretz Yisrael. Those fans that go this way, no? Trying to figure out if it's Eretz Yisrael. Okay. Yeah, if MDY doesn't sponsor, I'll sponsor. If Avos nisht. It's geschmack. Dear Moir V'Rabbi. Who starts off like that? Paris Chaim Levin. Ding dong, here we go. Shkoyach. Wow. What? Oh. Now that things have settled down somewhat since the start of Kiddushin, I wanted to touch base about the Catskill recruitment drive and give credit where credit is due. We had 3 locations of the Catskills. Mountain Food and Monticello, manned by Shalom Weiss. The Woodburn Shul, manned by Daniel Avital. The Goldshine Homestead in Liberty, manned by myself during the Joey Newcomb concert. He did a shout out for us, Yishkoyach. And also Yosef Bornstein, not related to Sruli, from Staten Island, volunteered to have a stand from the Rabbi Pollack Shul. Bekitzer, the total for that Sunday of new recruits was over 80. He set up all these stands, got people to 80 people. Unfortunately, due to my involvement, he didn't get a lot of people back. The ones that, and he has like a list of over 1,000. I was doing shir today and caught in the act by my daughter. Baruch Hashem, we had a baby girl, and she's not inclined to sleeping at night. I'm inclined to getting up early in the morning to at least start the daf, which by the grace of Hashem, I've been doing consistently since I started. My wife asked me how I get up in the morning, so I responded. I look forward to waking up and doing the daf. It motivates me to start my day, Baruch Hashem. Thank you again for keeping it enjoyable and entertaining and so insightful. Have a blessed day. Isaac Tivenbrum, related to the other, to
Morty.
To Morty?
I don't know. That's
Morty, yeah. I'm looking for Morty. He was at the Chasana, sitting right next to me.
Yep.
Yitzi Gunsberg. Dear Reb Eli, all my life I've never found learning interesting. But then, oh, you found what Mendy Erbach found 4 years ago. But then my friend asked me to do the daf. I thought he was crazy, a whole daf a day, but then I learned it. I thought this daf of Reb Eli, no wonder he wants me to learn Baruch Hashem. I only missed 2 days and caught up. I wait eagerly every day to learn the daf. Thank you changed my life. Can you send me the address of the Shabbaton, please? Yitzi Gunsberg. We're not telling anybody where it is until we announce it. Yeah, we just announced it. All the details. Get your credit cards ready. Get the,
Ritz-Carlton, Fifth Avenue.
Chashav.
People don't need to email.
We're going to share all the information. All right. Oh, that's it? No, we have more. The Koil is sponsored by May we merit the crown Hashem. The Masech is sponsored by the Lakewood NJ families, Lakewood, New Jersey, because Torah and achdus are the best segula. Parnas HaChodesh, the last day. Leilui Nishmat, Yosef, the Shom should have an aliyah. Parnas HaChodesh, Nishmat, Avraham Albert Halevi, Ben Ester Gavriel, Beniyaminov, Parnas HaChodesh, in honor of Reb Eli, Siyum HaShas, and all of MD wires. Parnas HaChodesh, Nishmat Zechariah Ben Moshe, Parnas HaChodesh, Rochel bas Leba for Refuah Shelemah B'Korov, Amen. Parnas HaYoim, Justin Ivri. Please be sure to read the name correctly. I guess yesterday I didn't. Nishmat HaShas, no, that Yosef put that in. Nishmat HaShas, Mars Fromt Bas, Rabbi Shlomi Chesed Chaim, Allah Shalom. What did I say yesterday?
Justin.
Flipped. Okay. Leah Lightman. Happy birthday, Dr. Hylton. Hilton? You know the people? That's right. You know everybody, you. Dr. Hilton Lightman of the Farakwe 5 town. You should have a happy birthday. You probably know how old he is. How old is he?
No, the name like Shimshis, you know, it's everyone's name.
It's okay. Daf, the third sponsor, Daf is schus of supporting Torah. The art of the month, Yosef ben Chai Sarah for all the schusim that come from supporting Limud Torah. I had a schus when I was in Farakwe by my brother. Hold on, this goes over here. I almost lost this. I had a very big schus of, we knocked on a door of a person who was very close to our mishpacha. Ramosha Brody is the son of the Shiva of Chevron. Zechariah, he lives in Farakwe his whole life. So when I was a little kid, I was a Ben Beis by him. He didn't have any children then. And he took, I was 5-6 years old. He sued this by him, the whole thing. So I said, I'm here for Farakwe. It's 45 years later, we got to go knock on his door. Knock on his door. He's in the middle of learning. It's Sfarim open, the whole thing. And he told me about his son. He has a son that lives in Las Vegas. One son. And he sent me yesterday that his son, what's his name? I wrote it down here. Beniyaminov. Beniyaminov Brody does the daf. So it's a big zach. For me, it's a huge thing. It's like a circle. He's Yeah. He does that. So it's a shout out to Beniyaminov. All right.
Maybe soon.
So that's also good. So here's a shaila. Think about it for a second. A ma'aseh shahaya, a person thought that he bought a tremendous mitzvah, bought a piece of gold, and he paid half price for it. Mamash, half price, got a tremendous mitzvah. Then he found out that it's worth zero. How's it shaykh? No, anybody? Not everybody together. So we're going to get here in a second. Let's see the Gemara for a second. It's a ma'aseh shaya. Hanirtza v'anim keloivet kechavim einoi oived loyes haben. We're holding Daf Amud Beis, 15 lines from the bottom. The chayiv gets larger and larger by the day. Hanirtza v'anim keloivet kechavim einoi oived loyes haben v'loyes habas. We learned that a Eved who had his ear punctured because he wants to stay longer, or an Eved that was sold to a non-Jew and the master dies, they don't work, they don't go be Yerusha to the children, not even to the son. How do we know? He should work for the master forever. Okay, talking about Elul, we could stick in for a second the famous Rebbe Elchanan, that if a guy is in jail and the doors are open and all the guards disappear and you remain in your room, then you're a shaita. The guy will come back and he'll give you zetzin. What are you doing? You have the opportunity to run, you have the opportunity to do tshuva. This guy has the opportunity to leave, doesn't want to leave. He's a nirtza. Why? Because he wants to be dependent on somebody else. He doesn't want to take a chrayz for his life. You gotta be a mensch. Forget about the other person. Do something for yourself. How do we know that if you're sold to a non-Jew and that non-Jew dies, you don't work for his son? It says that you should make a cheshbon with the person who bought it. So this, you're going to see soon that the one who argues with this svara. It doesn't say anywhere in the pasuk that you should make a cheshbon with the one who bought you. It doesn't say anywhere about yarship. It's a little bit.
That's in everything, though.
What?
Any sort of transaction you have with somebody, doesn't say it's also with his Yoshim forever.
Okay. You're saying like you can make that diuk everywhere? Is that what you're saying? Okay. No, it depends. Sometimes it will say v'chishav, like it says by Alma. It doesn't say im koineu. V'chishav, make a cheshbon. We know with who. With the person. Why does it say im koineu? It's like it's a little bit of extra word. Sometimes. Omer Rav Dvar Torah. Oiv kechavim yorishis aviv. So halachas.
No, I'm talking about the first
Which one? V'rotz adoinov.
Yeah, exactly. The law is about law is about. You can make that diuk about anything, any transaction.
Yeah, but it should say v'rotz zaznai. What's adoinov? Who? Maybe. Okay, fine. Dvar Torah. Oiv kechavim yorishis aviv.
Yeah,
Okay. Good. Omar Rav Dvar Torah Oiv Kechavim Yorish Aviv. Midaraisa. There's Yerusha by a non-Jew. How do we know? Shelemah v'chishavim koneu v'loyim yorsha koneu. Because we made this diuk that you do this kind of proration with the master and not with the master's children. Michlal dis le'yorshim. So you see that he has Yarshim, b'derech klal he has Yarshim. Just in this case, he doesn't have Yarshim. Ger is Oiv Kechavim. But what if a guy becomes a Ger and he wants to inherit his father? That we could go to the, it says, the famous Yisoid, Gershin is Ger, Ketinik Shenodam. Any Ger is like he's starting over life. So he lost his relationship with his parents, halachically. It goes against him. That midiraisa, he shouldn't inherit his father's. His father's worth $100 million, and his father dies. You're a tinik shenayla. Sorry, no relation. This nan ger b'al kechavim shiyosh savim oiv kechavim ger yachal loymar. Oh, sorry, did I say? Ela b'divrei soifrim. But midrabanan he does inherit, and we're going to see why. This nan ger b'al kechavim shiyosh savim oiv kechavim. So you have a ger, and you have his brother who's not Jewish, and they inherit the father. What do they get in the Yerusha? They get a bunch of avodah zara, they get some wine, which is yain nesech. So the ger could say, hey, you take the stuff that I'm usher to take, and I'll take the regular stuff. Let's do chalukah. But once he took it in possession, he's not allowed to give it back. Ask the Gemara, and if you say that he inherits his father in the Raisa, so what if it didn't come to his Rishus? You're not allowed to make any business with Avodah Zarah. So if he is equal partners with his brother on the Avodah Zarah, on the getchkes, on the idols that are worth money, and he says, hey, you take half and I'll take the cash. So he's making a deal with Avodah Zarah. So obviously he doesn't own any of that Avodah Zarah. So the Maisa Shahaya was that a guy bought in India a giant piece of gold and he got it for a great price. Turns out that the piece of gold was Avodah Zarah. And the Rabbanan Paskin, there's no way out of it. You can't do anything. You can't be mafkir it to a guy. You can't sell it to a guy. You can't have any anar from it. Zero. You take it, toss it into Yam HaMelech. $100,000. I don't know how much it cost him, but what? A guy could be mevatel it. Yes, but he owns it, so he can't be mevatel it. You can't have an anar from it. Mafkir what?
What do you mean?
Mafkir that the guy should take it, and no, you can't do that. Because that doesn't work like that.
Why not?
Because you're making business off of it. What are you doing exactly? You're going to
Exactly what
mafkir?
they do with the shaitel here. The Indian shaitel here. They were mafkir it, people took it and they used it. I don't know if you remember that. Eretz Yisrael, they burned all the shaitels.
Yeah, they said the paskin. I'm telling you what the Rabbanan paskin, it doesn't work. Okay. First of all, you don't know for sure that's Avodah Zarah. If the person knew for sure that his shaitel was Avodah Zarah, I don't think they would pass it. You say, on a suffix, whatever.
Said it was for sure over there.
If it came from a certain place, not about okay. Anyways, let's go weiter. Elo midrabanan. Listen to this, Rabbi Isai. Midrabanan, they said that the ger could inherit his father. Gzeirahu the Ovid Rabbanan shemo yachzul suroi. We're concerned if he finds out that his father died and he just lost a $10 million Yerusha because he's Jewish. He's going to say, you know what, enough with this. So I think it's an unbelievable thing. Think about it for a second. The guy lost all his friends. He basically cut off from his family. Sugar and became a yid. Nobody wants to talk to him. Everything about his life is upside down. But for a few bucks, if he's going to lose those, that much, I can't be soivel. Everything else in my life, I could. Not when it comes to money. Money is something special. I don't know what it is, but it does some funny things to people. Huh?
He only got to that point when he became a yid.
Zok David Kamiansky, that happened because he became a yid. Oh, and that's the Pshat in the Gemara. Shem Yafzel Surah, because everybody knows that once you're a Jew, you can't become a guy. But the Pshat is, I want to go back to my midas of not caring so much. Okay. Chas v'shalom. No. Taina me'achi. B'med dvar mamurim kishi yarshu. Aval kishin shtatvu asur. That's if you had inheritance. But if you are a shulta with somebody, you can't make, let's say a guy has a partnership, he has a store with somebody else, and then he decides to become a ger. And in the store, there's a bunch of getchkes and all sorts of stuff that's also to use. So he can't tell his partner, hey, you take all the shelves to the right, I take the shelves on the left. It doesn't work like that. Because I'm making money off of Avodah Zarah. Says Gemara, if one of them became a ger, father, son, the ger is a ger, a father and a son became a ger. That even with the Rabbanan not. That what? The Snan. Love a Maisman a ger, Shnizgar Banav Imay. A whole family decided to become ger, and you borrowed money from the ger. Lo yachzu lebanav. You don't have to give the money back to his sons. Why? Because Gershon's Gary Tinik Shenoyla Dami. Those sons halachically are not his. Vim hichzir. And if you give back the money, ein ruach chacham noicheim menu. It's a very strong lashon, but Rashi says it doesn't mean it literally. It doesn't mean chacham are upset with you. It just means chacham don't care about you. Like you didn't do anything great. It's not like, oh, he did, he's a chassid, he went lefnim mishur sadin and yishkayach. No, nothing. You get nothing. No recognition at all for giving the money back to the ger's son. But it says in a different place that chacham are very happy with you. You should give it back to the son. It says when the mother conceived him when she was a guy, and he was born when she was a guy, and then 5 years later they decide, he's already a guy. He's 20 years old and the father is 40. They decide to become gerim together. So now halachically they don't have a relationship, so you don't have to return the money that you owe the father to the son. You're right. She conceived him when she was a goya. However, he was born as a yid. Now, if you don't return the money to the son, so other people that were at the bris and they remember that he was born as a yid, they say, "Oh, that's where the minute comes, not to pay back people loans. Here's mefurish. This guy never paid back. Look, you don't have to pay back. You don't make a mistake. They're not going to chap that they're not related, halachically. Look, this guy didn't pay back. The chacham and paskin, you don't have to pay a loan back. I don't either have to pay back. Why? I don't know. A guy, like we said before, inherits his father. He has another pasuk. From Avraham Avinu, he got Har Seir. Says the Gemara, Esav wasn't a guy. Esav was a Jew that went off the derech. A Jew that goes off the derech, he gets Yerusha. What's the problem? Not only that, we once learned if somebody has a son that's off the derech, it's also to take him out of the Yerusha. It's not the right thing to say, you're off the derech, you're out of my Yerusha. The Gemara says. Why? Because you don't know what the future generations are going to hold. But a mumar doesn't lose his Yerusha. I have another pasuk. Is our Yerusha. And the sons of Lot are not considered Jewish, and they got a Yerusha. It says first in the pasuk Yerusha. Why didn't you say the pasuk v'chishavim kreneu? V'chsiv v'chishavim kreneu v'loyim yarsha kreneu. Doesn't say that svara. V'rava my time aloi omar k'Rav Baravin. Oh, look, Lot. It says Yerusha by the sons of Lot. Says Gemara mishum kvoided Avram Shani. It's possible that the Torah gave me Yerusha because look, he's mishpachas Avraham Avinu. It's different. A normal guy, he doesn't get Yerusha. But the family of Avraham Avinu, because of Avraham Avinu, they get Yerusha. So the Satmar Rav, Reb Yoel, he sees one of these rebbes, like with the whole fur and a silver cane. He says, well, why are you going like that? He says, I'm a Rebbe Shainikal. He says, oh, really? Who's the who's your father? Who's your grandfather? He says, Avraham Avini. So he said, what? From Hagar or from Sarah? Which one? Okay. Zog the Gemara. Layefe. Horace. You know he's probably watching a YouTube video. He's not even talking about us. Tana Rabbanan. Yes, B'ivri Shem B'ivri. He liked it. Yes, B'ivri Shem B'ivri. Yes, B'ivri Shem B'ivri. There's things that a Eved Ivri has that a Ivri doesn't have, and a Ivri has and a Ivri doesn't have. Yes, B'ivri Shuyotze B'Sharim B'Yoyim Misasad. Just to remind the Olam a little bit, it's not mamish what they had the chart for, but this is the Mishnah on Yudal Amud Beis. It says in the Mishnah that a Eved goes out B'Sheish, B'Yovel, and Giroin Kesef. And Yisera Olav Ivriya, she has one more extra. She goes out B'Simonim. That's not what it says over here. Look what it says. Yes, B'Ivri Shuyotze B'Shanim. The Eved Ivri only goes out B'Sheish, U'B'Yovel, U'B'Misa Sa'adon. It's a different list. Masha'enkin, we spoke about Misa Sa'adon yesterday with Giroin with Hanaka. Masha'enkin B'Ivriya. Ivriya doesn't go out with these things. So it's not like the Mishnah. V'yesh B'Ivriya. Ivriya has something special. Sharei Ivriya Yoytze B'Simanim. Okay, that we know. Ve'eina Nim Keres V'Nishnas. Once she sold once, and she comes back to her father, you can't sell her again. U'maf Denois Abal Karcha. And the Gemara is going to explain what this means. You could redeem her forcefully. Masha'en came B'Ivri. Okay, so right here we have a big tmiya. What's going on here? Omar Ma Yesh B'Ivri Shem B'Ivriya V'Irmini. How does this work with our Mishnah? In other words, it says in the Mishnah that she has the one on the bottom Simonim plus the three on top. She goes up B'Yovel. She goes up B'Sheish. Why are you telling me she doesn't? Omer Rav Sheishes Kigoin Shiada. There's yield. Here, we have here today a little bit of a stop. It's back in the day. Chas Shalom, not today. You have a master, and he has a 8-year-old child working for him as a servant, and he tells her, "Hariyat Yudli Bekezim Knasech." So she's allowed to stop. She's in the middle of doing the dishes. She's allowed to stop doing whatever she does. She drops the dishes, and the Olam screams Mazel Tov and Shalom Yisrael. Okay, so that's Yud. We have to say Hariyat Yudli Bekezim Knasech. I purchase you. I give your father $100. With some of that money, I'm being miyad you. There's a machlokes we're going to see later on. Is it some of the money? And now she stops working. That's it. From this moment on, that's it. She's not a amma anymore. And with that anah, she becomes mukudeshes. So we're talking about over here that he did yiyud. No, and if he did yiyud, she's a regular wife. Now she requires a get. She can't go out b'sheish. Oh, I'm here for 6 years, so yishkoyach, I'm out of here. It doesn't work. She's not an anymore. There's no yovel. No, so what about simonim? That's brow. So I was like thinking if we completely don't understand this. You know, maybe 100 years ago we understood it. Today, people are like, what is going on here? And then, like more than that, like she goes to school, she has to bring like a note from her husband why she's late. my wife is late. She was like, it's not your What?
Girls didn't go to school then. It was fine.
Okay.
There we go.
Yad Pshita. Says the Gemara, if he did yiyud, they married, gita baya. She needs a get. Maybe she's a type of wife that continues in the tradition of amma. She go up a shei, she go up a yovel. Komash malon. No. Yihachi, fine. But if she's not a amma at all, she's a regular wife. And as the Torah says, you have to treat her like a regular wife. Where does Simonim come into play? So you have to understand that she turns into a regular wife. And of course she doesn't go out b'simonim if she's a regular wife. If she's not a regular amma, if she's not a biyud, then she goes out b'simonim. Even b'simonim. In other words, so Gemara is saying enochanami. So if we go back to this, yes, amma goes out b'shei, she goes out b'yovel, she goes out b'roin kesef, and in addition to that, she also goes out b'simonim. That's what the Mishnah says, and we agree to that. That's not the question. If he's miyader and she becomes his wife, then she doesn't go out with anything. Huh? No. Miyun is something else. Miyun is if her mother or brother are mekadesher when the father is dead, and it's only Kiddushin de Rabbanon, so then she could just leave. That's something else completely. It sounds similar. No, miyun and yud. No. Veinim cares v'nishnas. Zog the Gemara. So we just learned that you can't sell her twice. Miklal. Let me see what we have here. Oh. Miklal David Ivri nimker v'nishna. Seems like you could sell a Jewish servant slave twice. Yeah? Twice in his life, he can be sold twice. But wait a minute, we have a machlokes here. If a person steals, he has to pay double. It's a knas. He pays the principal plus whatever it was, double. So if he has no money, and the principal is $500, you sell him for $500. But let's say he stole $1 million, so you could sell him for $1 million, but the double is $2 million. So you don't sell him twice. You can't sell him twice. So this is the idea of Edim Zoymimim. No, you don't for the kefil. For the kefil, yeah. I say you sell him twice. You don't sell him for the kefil. He doesn't have, let's say he has enough money for the principal, but not for the kefil. So he pays the principal and not the kefil. Sorry. Yeah. Bizmamai means Edim Zoymim. That is, that if somebody testifies falsely, that somebody owes money, somebody did something, and we find out that he's a false witness, so we do to the witness, the pasuk says, you do exactly what he wanted to make somebody pay $1 million. Now he has to take out of his pocket $1 million, but the guy doesn't have money. So you can't sell him in order to do the kasher zama. It's only if it's a real gneva, not a kasher zama. And here's the halacha that tells us that you can't sell him twice. Once you sold once, you can't sell him twice. You can't sell him twice to make up $1 million. So it's a huge gneva. He did a Ponzi scheme. So selling him once is not going to do it. 6 years. You're going to have to sell him 40 times. So you can't do that. It's one gneva. You can only sell him once. Shtei gnevos. He stole a bike. So you sell. He sold something else. You sell him again. So let me just show you real quickly the machlokes that we have here, so it's not confusing. It's very simple. The top and the bottom is the kula alma. The center is where the machlokes lays. If he stole one thing, then according to everybody, only sell him once. You can't sell him twice for one item, for one act. For a Ponzi scheme, one Ponzi scheme, one time. If there's two gnevos, two Ponzi schemes, two bikes, and there's two Amid Ladin, he went to Bezdin twice, according to everybody, he's going to be sold twice. The whole machlokes is, if he stole two different items, very expensive items, that let's say 6 years is not enough, you need 12 years, but they paskin in one din Torah that he has to pay back. Two gnevas. One Amid, that's where we have a machlokes between Rav and Abai. That Rav is saying that even if it was one Amid Din, it was one Bezdin. One time they went to court and Bezdin said, "You're chayav on two gnevas. You stole from Reuven, you pay Reuven. You stole from Shimon, you pay Shimon." Says Rava, you sold twice. Why? Because it's two gnevas. It seems like you only sold once for even many gnevas. She says, Behima Rabba, sometimes the word Bignevasa can mean many, and the Torah says you only sold once for many. You can't be sold twice. He argues on the center thing. The Lashon is a little bit interesting. What it means is, Kamba Adam Echad means there's one Hamad Ladin. He went to court once. Kam B'shnei B'nei Adam, he went to court twice. And I hold, says Abaya, that if there's one Amid Ladin on two gnevas, you don't get sold. And Rava says you do get sold. Now, what if he was sold and then he stole once? He was sold and then he stole again. So that's considered two gnevas. What? Yeah. No, Rashi brings us another case. It's not dafka two gnevas now. Even two gnevas one after another. The Reb Galinsky once told somebody that in our society, if somebody steals, what do? You put him in jail. And what happens when he's in jail? It's yadua. He learns how to be a better ganav. He learns all the tricks, all of this. So the Torah says if somebody steals, you sell him as a slave to a wealthy family, to a good family, a family that shows him how to act and how to this, and what's the word? Rehabilitates him. Makes him a better human. Torah Rabbana. Gneva Elef v'shava chamesh me'os. If he stole something that's worth 1,000, but he's only worth 500 when they sell him, nimkar v'choiz v'nimkar, they should sell him twice. Gneva chamesh me'os v'shava elef. If he's worth a lot more than what he stole. Yeah, he stole a car. How much is a car worth already? $10,000. They sell him for 6 years. Seems not fair, and you can't sell him for less. Then you don't sell him. If it was exactly what he stole $1,000 and you could sell him for $1,000 for 6 years, that's what you do. It seems unbelievable. It's almost like the parsha of Eved is like droish v'kabel schar. It's impossible to happen. The guy he stole something that's worth $13,297, and they sell him for $298. No, it's not a sale. Maybe I didn't really see this inside anywhere, but maybe I just finished this up. Maybe he stole a slave. I don't know if it's shaykh even. Maybe he stole another slave that was just sold, and he's worth it. He's just another slave. I don't know. What? It have to be on the first minute. Yeah. Now, there's a nidain. It doesn't work, but there is a nidain in the Rishonim and the Shulchan Aruch paskins that we don't sell somebody if he owes money. You owe me $1 million. Go work. Do something. Could I force you to work? No. But there's at least a nidain. There was like a havamina. Wait a minute. You owe this guy money. You go work. Do something about it. Oh. It seems like Reb Elazar is right. If he sold 500 and he's worth 1,000, you don't sell him. Why? You sell him for the whole gneva, not for half. You sell his whole him and not half of him, and you sell him for the whole gneva and not for half gneva. Says Gemara, who are you paida? Bal karchai. Savar Rav Eli bal karchai the adain. It's you force the master to let her go. That what? So Rashi says, Giroin Kesef, you could do. Everybody does Giroin Kesef. You prorate. A slave worked for 3 years and it was bought for 600. You give the master 300 against his will. So that's pashut. That's not what we're talking about. Why would I say mafta oisa? Only Ivri you could do bal karcha. Well, you could do it for Eved Ivri also. So we must be talking about that you write him a IOU thing. It must be that we're not doing Geroin Kesef. It must be that you wrote a check. Here, I owe you. Well, as a buyer, that can't be. He has a pearl, he has a jewel. And you're going to give him something that's mamish worthless? How could that be? The guy owns something expensive and you're going to give him an IOU? Logically, it's not. There's a mice almost like fakir. There's a guy that came to collect money in America, and he went to the Rav. Thought it was a very interesting story. Went to the Rav. He says, "Listen, I have all these dollars, single dollars. Do me a favor. I'm going to give you all the dollars, and you give me a check." So Rav thought about it. Said, there's no way that these are forged, the counterfeit money. So I'll give him. He wrote him a check. What happened was the guy was a big chaverman. Why did he do it? He went to everybody in the city and said, "Look, The Rav gave me a $5,000 check. So it's a big. I thought it was very, very clever. Elo Omar Abaya Balkorchidav. If the father has enough money in his account, then you force the father to take his daughter out. Mishum pigam mishpacha. That there shouldn't be. Who wants a family that the daughter is a servant? So everybody said, I want to share with you a brand new, fresh off the press story. I'm telling it to you from the perspective of my daughter, who's married. She has 2 children in Yerushalayim. 2:00 in the morning, there's a knock on her bedroom door. She opens up the door. My 27-year-old son is standing by the door, shaking and pale. What happened? My son, who came in for the bar mitzvah with his wife, he's sleeping there, and in the middle of the night, he feels something, and it turns out that one of those giant makakim, a cockroach this size, is on his head. So he went Meshuggah, he flipped it off, and he couldn't go back. He didn't know what to do, and he's standing. And my daughter-in-law is telling me he's on the bed and this, running, jumping. He doesn't want to kill it. So he goes and he wakes up my daughter. My son-in-law got up, killed the thing. He refused to go back into that room, and my daughter promises me she never even saw one of those ever in the building. It's a brand new building, the whole thing is same power. It came in, fine. So I told my son, they were all sitting there telling me the mice. I said, listen, you know what Reb Nachman Seltzer's favorite story of me is? What's my favorite story?
The one that I like?
The yawn of me. Yeah.
In the train.
The train. That I was on the train, and a bunch of whatevers came and surrounded me. And before they had a chance to say anything, I knew it was all over because there was nobody on the train besides them. It was like 12 in the morning, 2 in the morning, whatever it is. I was on the way to Passaic. I was on the way. It's 2.
Change the details.
It's 2:02. I was there with my little bag, my tefillin, going to the Port Authority to go to Passaic. And I just very, very calmly, I looked up and I said, which one of you wants to die first? And they turned and they just continued walking. Kitzer, I looked at my son, I said, you realize what you just did? Don't ever tell the story to anybody. This is a gam mishpacha what you just did. You, an adult, a 27-year-old Stefansky, on a bed, knocking at your brother-in-law's door at 2 in the morning, you should be embarrassing yourself. It's a gam mishpacha. And I don't want to hear about this. That's it. That's what I told him. And Be'ez Hashem, he's not going to tell anybody the story. Yes.
My daughter, but because it was a girl, it wasn't a guy.
Yeah, no, daughter's fine, but a 27. You ever saw my son? He's a tough, macho, the whole zach. He's scared of it. Oh, so if somebody sold as a Eved Ivri, we should force the mishpacha to take him out. We can't force the mishpacha because he's going to sell himself again, and who gets the cash if he does it again? He himself. He's going to benefit. As the Gemara law, the father is going to sell her again. At the end of the day, you can't sell her twice. This is going to answer your question. The Sanya. What does moicher over here mean? He accepts the kesef kiddushin for his daughter, and he could do it again. He could, if she's only engaged and she's a ketana, not married, not nesun, only erisin, a father could accept kiddushin twice. Mamish a business. Takes a ring, and then if he divorces her or whatever, he dies, nachama. With shivchus, v'shoina. He could sell her as a amma, and let's say she went out, yoivel, whatever, shanim, misa sa'adar, she comes back. And he sells her again. He could marry her off after she comes back from working. But you cannot sell her as a amma after she's married and her husband dies. You cannot sell one after another, so we go according to that. Don't worry about it. You can't sell her twice. You have nothing to worry about. Says Gemara, this is a machlokes tanoi. This anya. Bevigdoi ba. Daf Amud Beis. So we have to see this chart here for a second. Lam nachri lo yimshol lemachra bevigdoi ba. I just put in another word there, bevigdoi ba or bevigdoi ba. We have a shaila. How do you read it? It says we read it bevigdoi, but it's without a yud. So you can read it, if you want, it doesn't have nekudis in the Torah, you can read it bevagdai. So it's very different words. One is beged, lashon beged, clothing, and one is a lashon of betrayal, bagad, begida. So Rebbe Kiva says, Kivin shepeiras taliso yaleho. Once he marries her, he does yud. Shuv enoi rishoy l'moichra. The father cannot sell her anymore. The Rebbe Kiva. So the pasuk is saying, la'am nochri lo yimshal l'mochra. You can't sell her again. Why? Beged ba. There was a beged. There's a talus. He married her. Once he betrayed her, we're talking about selling her. We read it the way it's written, without a yud. So it's bagad, it's betrayal. It's the way we read it with a yud. Oh, and Reb Shimon by us, huh? No. One is selling, one is yud. One is kiddushin, one is selling. Reb Shimon says both. You can't sell her after she's mekudesh, and you can't sell her after she became a amma. And the story we turn to Yud Amud Beis in honor of my uncle Reb Elchanan Pressman, and as a schos for a year filled with Mazel bracha, parnasa berevach, and by Greg Kaber, bracha parnasa atzlacha brios, his family Reb Eli and all MDY and everyone doing the daf. Rashi just points out that in Sanhedrin, Reb Eliezer holds Yeshem Lemikra, not both. Not Reb Shimon holds Yeshem Lemikra. So he says that over there it's besukais without a vav and with a vav. And it's a question: do you have 3 walls or how many walls? So you can't hold both. You can't say a sukkah has 3 walls, 4 walls. It's one or the other. But over here we could say I hold the both halachas. When it's possible to say both, I hold both. Over here we can hold both. That a father cannot sell his daughter after Kiddushin, and he can't sell her after slavery. So this idea that a master, in the middle of her working, he says, what's the lashon over here? Yeah. What does it accomplish? Is she an arusa? Here. Does it accomplish erusin, which is stage 1 of marriage, or does it accomplish nesuin? And what's the nafkamina? The Gemara tells us again. Nafkamina liyarcha v'letamelo lahafen edareha. You become a full-fledged husband, and therefore you go to the levaya. You could be made for the nedarim. You inherit her, or no, or just stage 1. Tashma bevigdoi ba kivin shepeiras talisa yoleh shuv iner sholim machra. So once you do yud, you can't sell her. Zabuni de lemizabinla, hoyudim yaidla. Over here, yudim yaidla means he could be mekadesh her again. It's a tricky lashon. It's to keep us on our toes. Yudim yaidla v'yamers nesuin. But if yud is the final stage of marriage, given the nieces shuv ein lovir shusba. What do you mean that the father could marry her off again? She was already married once. Once she's completely married, then she leaves her father's jurisdiction completely. So I have to say that this girl, her husband, her master did yud, and it only accomplished stage 1. Then he went pfeifen, he died. So now the father takes her and marries her off to somebody else that he could do because it's only erusin. No, not a raya. It's talking about regular Kiddushin, not Yud. Once the father gave rid of somebody that's chayiv in everything, so he can't sell her after Nisun. Toshma. No, you're not chayiv Sherik Susvayna after Nisun. Oh, what? What? Okay. No, I'm saying I'm right. I'm going weiter. We'll talk afterwards. Tashma, ei moicher lekroivim. You don't sell her to kroivim. So it says in the pasuk, "Imra be'ini adunah sheloi ya'ada vehevta." Ein moicher lekroivim. So we had this halach already. a father can't take his daughter and sell her to the father's, to the father's son, let's say. Why? Because you have to have the ability to do yiyud. In Rabbi, the Torah says that you do yiyud, that a master could do yiyud. So if it's a sale that's impossible to do yiyud, why? Because she's an erva to you, so it's not a sale. You could. It's not a ma'akev the yiyud. But everybody agrees. You hear this? What if this young girl is an almana, 8-year-old almana, widow? So the father goes, takes her, and sells her to the kohen gadol. The problem is you have to be able to do yiyud. The kohen gadol has to be able to do yiyud, but a kohen gadol cannot marry an almana. So how in the world could you sell this girl to kohen gadol? The answer is he'll do yiyud, and we have this klal in Shas that Kiddushin is teifes in chayvei lavim. It works. The Kiddushin is good. It grabs. He's going to be over Ester, but it grabs. So Mela, it's considered as if he could do yiyud. He's not going to do yiyud. He's not going to be over the Ester. But in terms of what? No, she's his amma. She's working for him for the kohen gadol. The problem is the Torah says you have to be able to do yiyud. He's able to do yiyud. If he does yiyud, it grabs, it works. Just what? He's over lav. Okay. If he follows through.
We just said that. If she gets married, the father can't sell.
Oh, that's the Gemara's right here. Exactly. It's Meicher Yikub. Says Gemara, oh, here's the raya. What kind of widow is she? Eli the Kaddish Nafsha. She herself accepted Kiddushin without her father. Amani Karila. It's nothing. Velo the Kachavia. Her father was Mikadisher. How could he sell her afterwards to the Kohen Gadol? So we answered. The father wasn't Mikadisher, and she wasn't Mikadish herself. What happened was the father sold her as a Amma, and the master said, "I read me because of Miklasik." The father had nothing to do with it. He didn't accept money for Kiddushin. Now the master is giving her a gift by letting her free, sort of, and now he's Mikadish with that. Now the Gemara's raya is but if Yiyud creates Nisuin, at the end of the day, you see from here that it doesn't do Nisuin, because if it did Nisuin, then the father wouldn't be able to marry her off b'chlal. So we do 2 more lines here. It's the middle of the sugi either way. Velamai. So what are you going to say? Eris and Isa. Even after Erusin, you cannot sell your daughter. We'll stop here. We'll just go over it again tomorrow. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day.